I tried warning you all. Jannik Sinner is back on top of the world. He's number one and he's just won another Masters title, beating Felix in the final. It was a fantastic match and this is our reaction.
He's done it. The Italian back on top. Jannik Sinner wins the Masters in Paris, and he did it in straight sets. Both of us predicted straight sets, but neither of us had a tie break in there. So credit to Felix Auger-Aliassime. He had a really good match, I thought, but just falling down at the final hurdle in both of the sets. And Jannik Sinner, he seemed like he was struggling a little bit physically in that second set. So he did well to push through and win it in two, because who knows, if he'd have lost that second set and he was struggling physically, maybe Felix could have come out on top in the third. But that's all hearsay now, because Jannik Sinner is Paris Masters champion for the very first time.
Yeah, and I mean, I know neither of us did predict a tie break, but be honest, Ben, I was closer than you in my prediction. I knew it was going to be two close sets, and that's exactly what I said. You thought Jannik Sinner was going to steamroller him, but it wasn't a steamroller type of match. The reason being is Felix is incredible, and I think we should touch on him maybe before Sinner, because his forehand quality today was right up there with Jannik Sinner. And it's very few times you'll see Jannik Sinner on a tennis court, especially on an indoor hard court, struggling to deal with the pace of the opposition. And that's what we saw today with Felix. He was very solid at the baseline.
Serve was good.
His serve was amazing, and his hands is incredible. He is someone who, when he does step in and goes for the volley, he very rarely misses. And there was one volley I really liked in particular where it was... He coming off the serve and hit a really nice sort of forehand cushion volley the other side. It was an unorthodox type of shot, but really well executed. And that just shows how versatile he is on an indoor hard court. Can he do that on all of the other surfaces? We've not seen it yet. Can he do that with his backhand consistently to beat the big players? We've not seen enough, even in this final. But the stuff he does do well, the forehand, the serve, the volleying, is right up there with the very best in the world. And he troubled Jannik Sinner today. This was a really competitive match with two fantastic players on an indoor hard court. And Felix, you need to give a lot of praise to.
Definitely. Thought he played his part in this final. It wasn't plain sailing either. I thought that second set could have maybe gone either way, really. There were break points having to be saved, more so by Felix. I'm not sure that I didn't even really remember Sinner saving a break point in that second set, but still, it was quite close at times. And there was a moment when Sinner double faulted at 40-30 to go to deuce right at the end of the set. And I thought, oh, hello, he's limping a bit on the baseline. He's having a little bit of trouble here. Can Felix capitalize? But no, Jannik Sinner pulls out some big serves again, ends up pushing him around the court. And yeah, I just thought it was a really competitive match. It was better than I anticipated. So well done to you. You said it was going to be a bit closer. But in a tie break, Jannik Sinner, he's a bit formidable. And I saw a stat before the match as well, which I thought was interesting, that Felix this decade is the person with the most indoor hard court wins. He's out of everybody, 82, I believe it was. And Jannik Sinner below him. So that just goes to show he knows how to win on an indoor hard court.
And he's now qualified for Turin, and everyone will not want to play him. Novak Djokovic has had Felix's number, but I think this is a scary prospect for him in this kind of form, with Felix looking confident. This is probably one of the best levels I've seen of him, sort of since the last time we saw that was 2022, 2023. That year he was really good, and he was sixth in the world. But on to Jannik Sinner.
Is it guaranteed he's qualified? I thought that there's still some... I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed, but I think that there is still one possibility that he might not qualify. Like Jose Morgado saying here, the last spot will be decided next week. Felix qualifies if he reaches the semi-finals in Metz, or Musetti doesn't win Athens. and Musetti qualifies if he wins Athens, and Felix doesn't reach the semi-finals in Metz. So that's it. They're the only possible things that can happen. But I think he's pretty much there, to be honest.
I think he's 80-90% there. And
yeah, for sure.
So I'm not really reading too much into it. On Jannik Sinner, he is now number one, and potentially can end the year-end number one. It will be decided in Turin. It was like kind of what we was joking around about, saying it is a potential prospect that it's going to go all the way to the wire. That is now the case. And this is how it's gonna settle it. If Sinner wins all 5 matches in Turin, Alcaraz is year-end number one if he wins all 3 round robin matches, wins 2 round robin matches and reaches the final, and wins 1 round robin match and reaches the final. So really, the key focus is how will Alcaraz compete in the round robin matches? If he is to lose 2 of them and not qualify and get all the way to the final match, then I genuinely believe Sinner will do it, because I don't see anyone else stopping him. You look at Zverev, who's right up there as one of the 3rd best players of the year. You look at Djokovic, right up there, 3rd or 4th best player of the year. They can't get anywhere near Jannik Sinner. So if Alcaraz isn't going to be able to get through to the final, then surely Sinner wins it. I think we'd agree on that. The point is Alcaraz going to be able to get to the final? On paper, it looks like he can, but you never know. And when you've got players like Felix, who's very dangerous in there, I think anything is possible.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And
it's
Fritz
all
as
down
well.
to
We saw Fritz beat Alcaraz this year.
It's all down to the draw, I think. It's going to be interesting. It builds it very, very nicely, though. I like the fact that we've got something even more to play for than just the ATP Finals trophy itself, that there is something more on the line. And obviously, the fact it's in Turin, the fact it's Jannik Sinner, he's Italian, it builds up to something bigger than just the ATP Finals. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on it, that's for sure. And I think that he could do it. Like, Alcaraz is going to have to really, really try his utmost to get these wins. And I think this might bring out another side of Alcaraz, though. We don't know, because you see, when he gets pushed, he suddenly comes out on top and then finds gold sometimes. So it's going to be super interesting. I can't actually wait for that tournament now. It's billed as perhaps the biggest thing of the year now. Well, let's have a look at some of these stats from today's match, though, because I know that we've been speaking about Jannik Sinner, how good he's been, and an exceptional performance in shot qualities. Yeah, he's just had another good one.
Go up one, Ben. It says here, only 1% of matches finish with all 4 shot quality scores above an 8. And in this match, he had an 8.4 serve, 8 return, 9.6 forehand, and 8.1 backhand. Only 1% of matches. It's 1 in 100 matches a player's able to make 8 on everything.
Crazy.
It probably wasn't even his best performance this week in terms of these metrics. But he was fantastically good and rarely put a foot wrong. I was watching it after playing tennis myself earlier on, and it's just always has that effect on me. When you play tennis and you try and do things on a tennis court, you watch these guys and the angles they find, it's just not possible for most other people. For normal people, it's not possible.
Just the level of consistency throughout the hit. That was what I was thinking watching it today.
A few of them, but they're more shanks.
Yeah, the watching them hit today, you just go backhand or forehand, doesn't matter which shot it is. Even that one rally I just thought was incredible. It was the little half volley from Sinner, drop shot half volley, brings Felix in. Felix slides to the net and just about flicks it, but hits the net cord. It drops over the other side, and Sinner somehow lobs him from face to face at the net, and then he dashed back and got a racket on it. But what a rally that was. This is the level that you have to be at, and the athleticism to be able to play in a Masters final. And Sinner, even though he wasn't at his peak, still producing like crazy level.
I mean, it's not far off his peak. I saw a stat
pretty
with his
close.
his serve quality. I think his return quality from post the US Open, and percentage-wise, he's like 7% higher than what he was at the beginning of the year. So he is playing better now than before. But I put a lot of that down to the fact that it is on the indoor hard courts. It's a 26 consecutive wins on an indoor hard court. Can anyone beat him? I don't know if you've got the other stat there as well, and that is the other players who have records similar on an indoor hard court. It's Djokovic, Federer, Jannik Sinner. Them three of the best on a hard court. Djokovic did it between 2012 and 2015, and he won 35 matches in a row on an indoor hard court. Roger Federer, 33 between 2004 and 2007. And Jannik Sinner's doing it right now, 26 matches, obviously 2023 to present. And this is the records across the last 30 years. I honestly think Jannik Sinner has a chance, if he is to keep going in this ATP Finals, to try and take one of these records.
It's going to be in the 30s if he wins it, isn't he? So if he wins it without losing, obviously, a match, wins every single match of those tour finals, he'll be up to number 31 then. He'll be in the 30s. And then you wouldn't put it past him when the indoor hard courts come around again. You're going to be playing first round, second round matches again. So you'd expect him to start winning. And then to get to another final, you might have to win 3 or 4 matches. So that could be a possibility. One more tournament win after the tour finals, and he might even overtake Djokovic. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, insane stats from Jannik Sinner. Just what he had to say after the win. I think we'll go to both of those tweets next, just because it's good to hear what they had to say afterwards, and then we'll probably wrap up. This is what he had to say afterwards about not being able to speak French first. He said, "Hello, everyone. Sorry, I can't speak French. Give me some years. First of all, Felix, amazing week. I know you had a lot of pressure. You've been in a very difficult spot throughout the whole week. I hope it pays off for you playing in Turin. Congrats to you and your whole team. You're one of the nicest people on the tour. If you keep playing like this, you're for sure going to have some of this, I'm very sure. I wish you the best for the rest of the season, but also for the rest of your career. You're amazing." But I think that this is something that's been said before to Felix in many finals, and especially on indoor hard court. Can he translate that into the rest of the season? Obviously, we saw him at a US Open semi-final. That was pretty big. Is that the catalyst now? He's now competing pretty well with Jannik Sinner on indoor hard court. Can he do it outdoors? He took a set off him at the US Open. I think that's the benchmark. If you see how well you play against him, then you're pretty much right up there.
Definitely. And it is the benchmark. How well you can play against Jannik Sinner, I think, says a lot about the level you can produce. And that's what we said on the last episode as well. With Felix, though, I don't think he is necessarily a good enough player for the other conditions and the other surfaces. We only see this level of performance on an indoor hard court, and that's fair enough. I think he can still be a top 10 player on the other surfaces. I think he can still go deep in Grand Slams, but I don't see him winning any of them anytime soon, because I think there's other players who I'd put ahead of him. If a Grand Slam was an indoor hard court, then maybe he can win one, but it's not. So Felix, what he had to say, I'm going to cut to the end because I liked it, and it was how they've known each other for many years. And he said, "I think we were playing FIFA when we were 16 or 17." So you got to remember these players, and it was something similar with Rublev when we met him as well. They've known all of these other players a lot of the time from the juniors. We've seen Holger Rune playing with a few of them as well. He's known Alcaraz for many years. They know these players inside out. They know the teams. They know their families. So it is a bit surreal for them to be on the biggest of stages, the stage where Djokovic dominates usually at this tournament. And they're there without a Novak Djokovic fighting for the big prizes. And I think it's credit to their hard work, that because not all them players they would have known when they were 16, 17 playing FIFA have been able to translate that into still producing big results. I'm sure there's plenty of other big talents and potential prospects who we don't even know about.
For sure. Yeah. And
They
I think we're
disappeared.
Yeah, most definitely. There probably are some of them out there. let's just end with this one because I think it's quite fitting. There's only 3 active players that have a winning head-to-head versus Jannik Sinner at tour level. Some surprises in here for
Buster is
sure.
one of them.
Pablo
I knew
Carreño
that.
Buster 2-1. Stefanos Tsitsipas 6-3. I mean, if they play each other 3 more times, I think that'll be leveled at 6-all, to be honest. And then Carlos Alcaraz 10-5. I think that's the main one he wants to try and level up out of all of them, to be honest.
Yeah, the last bit's interesting. Alcaraz has won 14 big titles, beating Sinner en route to winning 9 of them. Sinner has won 10 big titles, beating Alcaraz en route to winning 1 of them. And I think it highlights, if Alcaraz isn't there, Sinner will clean up. But if they're both there, you'd fancy Alcaraz to do Jannik Sinner over, unless it's an indoor hard court, of course. And there's a nice graphic to end on the 2 of them. Carlos Alcaraz, who's now number 2 in the world as of tomorrow, and Jannik Sinner with the big titles chase. And it just sort of breaks it down quite nicely, the numbers. So 6 Grand Slams for Alcaraz, 4 for Jannik Sinner. ATP Finals, none for Carlos, 1 for Sinner. Masters Finals, he's catching him up. He's got 5 now. Alcaraz on 8. And, of course, gives a total of 14 for Alcaraz, 10 for Jannik Sinner.
Absolutely brilliant. I was going to say about Felix as well. Seems to be incredible on the indoor hard court. Is he like the opposite of Rafa? Like Rafa that was the only place he was like terrible. To be fair,
well, terrible. I think that's a big word.
Obviously.
If Rafa was here right now, would you say to him, "Listen, mate, you're terrible on indoor hard court"?
He'd be like, "Nah, yeah, I would have been
I don't think terrible is the right word. He would have beaten still 99.9% of the tour.
He didn't have many titles on the indoor hard courts. Let's put it this way. It probably
it's not easy when you've got Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic taking a lot of them.
I guess you're probably right. But yeah, like we say, if there was an indoor hard court Grand Slam eventually, who knows? Maybe Felix could grab one of them. But for the time being, I think he's just going to have to settle for Masters, ATP 500s and 250s. But who knows? Maybe he's got a shout at the ATP Finals. Should he get there? Tell us your thoughts about this final in the comment section. Do you think it was super competitive? Was it a shock? Or did you just think business as usual? Jannik Sinner, another title.
Well, you must be a little bit surprised how well Felix played.
Yeah, I am. I thought that it was going to be a tactical masterclass from Sinner.
You underestimated him.
I did underestimate Felix, or maybe Jannik Sinner wasn't up to the level I was expecting. He was a bit limpy around the baseline, and maybe I was just expecting him to wallop him off the court, play more into the backhand, and Felix to maybe be a bit of a deer in the headlights. He wasn't. I thought credit to Felix, but also credit to Sinner for beating him in 2 sets.
And in your summary, Ben, I want to find out from you before we wrap this up, will Jannik Sinner finish the year-end number 1? Because you was adamant it wasn't happening not too long ago.
Really tough.
You called me a lot of names, even off stream.
It's really tough without seeing the groups, but I'm going to put my neck on the line here, and I'm going to say Alcaraz does just enough to squeeze the number 1 back. It could go either way. How about you?
The Italian resurgence. I'm wearing blue. Force say Jannik. Let's go. Come on. He's coming for number 1. But let's wait and see. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let us know what you made of this spectacular final where Jannik Sinner is victorious. See you soon.